How the carbon exchange works is quite simple. Companies are given legally binding limits on the amount of CO2 that they can release. These limits, or quotas, are deliberately set lower than real needs. In order to make up the difference, companies can now choose to reduce production, invest in cleaner technologies, or buy extra quotas from another company which doesn't use all of its own. What's important is that the overall reduction targets are met. The industrial sectors currently involved include energy, steel, paper, cement, petrol, glass and ceramics. The exchange works on the basic rule of supply and demand. The greater the need to emit CO2, the more scarce and expensive the available emission rights will become, and the more economic sense it will make to switch over to clean technologies.
Emissions trading per se does not, of course, reduce emissions to the atmosphere, but it gives us the information, the price signal, that allows us to take decisions about investing in turbine upgrades or flare reductions or building windmills or more efficient management practices.
Since setting up the exchange, the price of CO2 has seen a sharp increase.
For the moment, we estimate that there is a CO2 quota deficit of between 50 to 100 million tons a year, and that is reflected in the price. The price of CO2 has gone up to €17 a ton.
The effects of the quota system and the carbon exchange are already being felt on the ground. Take this cement plant in Belgium, for example. It uses the wet method production process, where the different raw materials are diluted in water and then heated to create a chemical reaction between the components of the paste, while at the same time evaporating the water. The process consumes a lot of energy and generates large amounts of CO2. The plant used to pump out 1.5 million tons of CO2 a year.
On a business level, Kyoto made people stop and think about the tools used in industry. For instance, we have looked at all the imaginable means possible to try to reduce energy consumption. That is, after all, the biggest emitter of CO2. One relatively simple example is our attempts to reduce the amount of water in the paste that we use here to feed our kilns. By adding fluidifiers, we can reduce the water content of this paste by 34%. And so the less water you have in the paste, the fewer calories of energy you need to evaporate it.
The plant is also starting to replace fossil fuels with alternatives, such as sludge from water treatment plants. These and other measures have reduced CO2 emissions from the site by as much as 6%. Bringing the company in line with its emission quotas. The scarcity of quotas allocated to industry has in effect given CO2 a value per tonne, which has made investment in clean technologies much more attractive.
Scarcity is important. Without scarcity, there is no positive price on an economic market, and we need a positive price on carbon to do and to generate the right things. The right things is reducing carbon emissions.
While Europe hopes to expand the scheme to include other industries, today there are many other carbon exchanges around the world that allow not only companies but also consumers to trade in carbon emissions. A great example of a global market mechanism devised to benefit the environment.